Hello, everybody, and welcome to not a regular NEC season match, but this is University of Cincinnati's Queen City Clash. However, we are not against University of Cincinnati. This is just one of the qualifiers. This is going to be against Ashland College or University?
University.
Ashland University. Sorry, I'm not familiar. But this first map is going to be a never mind. I take it all back. We're not doing any of that. Go home. No, we will be. Just maybe there's some technical difficulties. I doubt this will take. Oh, skins were on. I see. Is this best of 3 or is this best of 5?
Best of 3.
This is best of 3. So we will just be playing. At most, we will be playing capture the point, which is control point, escort, and then flashpoint. Shout out to Blakeu's dog Sasha. Don't know if anything's going on, but Sasha's a cool name for a dog, and I'm sure dogs are pretty cool. I don't know why I said I'm sure as if I've never experienced having a dog before, but you really like to see the just giving back to the audience. You gotta shout out that dog. I don't know what the holdup is. There we go. I just had to complain. All right, well, still in it. I was like, are you about to mute me? But yeah, I think that now we are going to get into it. They did not like Night Oasis, and they also did not like those skins. I'm Big Soup of the Overwatch White team, and I'm accompanied by someone else,
I'm the one and only Star Garden, also of Overwatch White team.
which, in order to fill the air, we just took a fat dub. I don't mean to be vulgar with you guys, but it was quite nice. We had a really nice game, uh, and now we're moving on to this. Uh, Now, this I also beg the question: will there also be an NECC match this week?
No,
No. All right.
Arkansas State has requested for reschedule.
I
You may remember Arkansas State from our intense rival.
I vaguely remember it if they played last season, but that might have been Arizona State. I often get those states' names confused.
Well, it was Arkansas.
I see. All right. Well, going into this map, we've got Tuni on that Lucio, Carp on the Baptiste, Who's James on the Sojourn, Blakeu on the May, and Galvanisio on the Ram. This is all pretty normal, and I will say something interesting. They're running that Torb and the Genji. Not a super DPS lineup that meshes, but we'll
Their
see.
Genji is going to dive in very, very quickly here. Tuni's going to have to fall onto the low ground. The wall is going to come out, and the Galvanisio is just going to punch in there with Ram. Their Genji is going to fall off the map, probably trying to dash back in, getting stopped by that wall. Their Torb is going to take out our Immortality field. And Ashland is going to have to back up here as Center's going to try and cap this point.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely going to go to center, but it really begs the question, how much is Galvanisio willing to give in order to win this fight? We're going to get that point, but you really don't want to give anything else. Ooh, just making a lot of space. Sorry, I wasn't sure what was going to happen there with the slide back. I didn't know who was looking. That turret goes down. That Torb is not able to make any sort of space.
Their Moira is extremely weak here. Who's James hitting that big rail? Their Genji's also going to fall. Their Torb is going to overload. Blakeu is going to need to hit those shots. Who's James is going to pick it up, though, for where Blakeu was lacking a little bit there. But we were able to pick it up and maintain that point.
You know, it's just really fortunate that we switched to Blakeu as soon as that happened.
To make it up for it, though, getting the kill on the Ram.
Yeah, absolutely. It made up for that. The tank kill is so important, especially at the start of these fights. We do have Window and Annihilation ready.
We're coming up on both freeze and beat as well. Ashland is having, they have Cole, they have Annihilation here.
Yeah, this is just a game of defense, and so you really want to get that beat up as fast as possible. Annihilation's nice, but Annihilation is meant for going in. If we can get things like beat and freeze up and this window to defend.
Their Cole is going to come out to defend against this window. We are going to Immortality field here. Their Genji's in the back. Who's James is going to get a pick onto that Torb. Try and get the boop onto the Genji. He is extremely weak, holding onto the point. The deflect is going to come out. He's going to fall to Who's James' rail. We do now have Overclock online. Their Moira is holding up. Going to fade. We are going to commit the freeze, immediately have that Ram fall, and their Moira is also going to fall. We're going to be almost done with this cap point right here.
Yeah, I think that was really well played. We only used 2 ults, and we have the other 3 ready to go. I think that everybody got really low, but nobody really died. It looks like just stopping power is where sort of Ashland is going to have to pick this up a little bit.
Yeah, Ashland is coming in here. They're lacking their beat. Tuni has beat here. We also have Overclock and Annihilation. And the Overclock is going to come out immediately. Their Ramattra is extremely weak. Hiding behind the Snapper cover. Is going to use Annihilation. They're also going to pop the Blade. We are going to beat to counter these ults. The Ramattra is going to be extremely weak. Tuni's going to get the Lucio dip. Who's James is going to get the pick. We're going to Annihilation. We're going to get the Torb. Their Moira is very weak. The last one on point. He is going to fall. And that is going to be team kill and first point for Center College.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that a 0 death first point?
It might be.
I'm uncertain. I'm uncertain. I think it's possible that somebody fell there, but either way, that was really well played from Center College. I think that just that ult preservation, not using Annihilation to go too deep, they sort of drew a line in the sand. Where are we going to cross? And just, if we ever cross this point, we're looking to turn back around. We are not looking to go past this imaginary line I'm drawing in the sand here. And it's really useful, just especially for people like Tuni, who's playing that just get out healer, and it's, oh, my tank has crossed that line, that means that his goal is to back up into me, and I can sort of speed him out and these sort of things. That's whenever you sort of know to use Maywall defensively, things like that. I think the body language is something that this team just really has down. They can read each other really well.
Yeah, Ashland is going to go for more of a dive comp here, going up to the height with the Tracer, the Kiri, the Lucio, Doomfist, all of that. Carp is immediately going to get a nice shot onto their Tracer, and it's going to, Who's James is going to hold up top, and we are just going to try and kind of mess around with this fight here. this is a very interesting angle from the entirety of Center College. All of Ashland is holding up top.
Yeah, whenever you're a Baptiste, your main goal is to get up on that little just pillar right there. You can get so much just vantage for heals and things like that, and that's really being difficult. But this Doomfist is not making it easy for himself to cap this point. He's stalling a little bit, but not really getting anything, except for a few punches to the face from Galvanisio.
Yeah, their Tracer is going to be kind of in the back line. Their Doomfist is kind of putting pressure on our team. The wall's going to come out and try and make a little bit of space for Center College here. Their DPS is going to be holding up top. Their Doomfist is just bullying our front line here. Who's James is going to get a nice pick onto that soldier, maybe looking for a follow-up onto their Lucio is then going to fall. Their Kiri is extremely weak. Kiri is going to fall. Doomfist looking like the last one to be on point. No, there's a Tracer as well. He is then going to fall, and that is going to be a good third of the point cap for Center.
You just got to take note of these ults here. Both sub ults are really close, but they're running that Tracer, so that Pulse Bomb might just be able to take him out as soon as they get it. That's something that we really need to be careful of. Something else that I want to point out is just how much of a nuisance that Doomfist was for them to swap off of it. I guess they just felt like they were getting in and drawing a lot of attention and not getting anything from it. And
Pulse Bomb's going to come out there. And we're going to use Window. The Pulse Bomb's going to miss, and we're going to walk in here, see if we can get a little bit of charge on our Annihilation. We do have beat if Galvanisio gets too weak and we want to push forward. But it's looking like we can just heal him up and save it there.
Peeking through that window is not something they want to do. They had to wait until this point in order to push on, but now they're pushing on full force, and you have to just really hope that this Nemesis, maybe an overclock here, can really push them back. There it comes.
Overclocked, and it's gonna look like we're gonna get the freeze as well. Immediately get their one of their supports, their tank and their DPS. Their Baptiste is extremely weak. Tracer's gonna fall. That is very good from Center.
Now, here's something that I really like. We used 3 ults there, but we sort of staggered them to where we used the Carp window, and then later on in the fight, we used the Freeze Overclock combo. I don't know if the Freeze Overclock combo is necessary, but I do think that you want to win this point no matter the cost, and you still have Annihilation, you still have beat.
Great wall there from Blakeu getting the ram separated. And we do have our Annihilation in our beat for this last touch here. They're gonna have to fight this without a tank. That's gonna be extremely scary for them. Their Tracer's not gonna have recall. Both of the beats are gonna come out from both teams. We are also going to Annihilation, try and get them pushed back as far as possible. Galvanisio is gonna fall to the Lucio, but Who's James is gonna pick up both Tracer and Baptiste. Their wall is gonna come up. Blakeu is gonna kill the Mei. Who's James is gonna get a rail onto the Lucio. It's gonna have to be a Doomfist touch, but he's not gonna get it, and that is a very quick first round for Center College.
An absolutely fantastic first map. I'm not quite sure what would have gotten this. Maybe Who's James on the second freeze. Oh no, I'm completely wrong. I do think that Galvanisio was playing that really well, playing that really defensively. Even when you have the lead, not being too aggressive. I say not being too aggressive, but this play of the game would say otherwise. Just running into the enemy team and getting so many of them. An absolutely fantastic first round, and we will see everybody on Escort. Hello, everyone, and welcome to I'm an Idiot. This is actually going to be Escort. The rules for the, I'm assuming, yes,
You said escort.
I said
You
Escort
said
again.
escort, but it's hybrid.
Welcome, everybody, to I'm Stupid Big Idiot. This is Escort. We are going to be on Kings Row. For this specific tournament, it is a sort of special rule set to where a team that loses gets to pick the next map type. So things were mixed up. I assumed it would be like other tournaments or like regular season, but as we sort of discussed it, it's not that bad. I kind of like the concept, and I'm sure it's more widely known than just because I'm, stupid and dumb. But this comp, I was instantly drawn to their attack comp with the Ram Baptiste Lucio Farah Widow. I'm sure the Widow is just for a couple shots, as that's sort of the norm on Kings Row. Just maybe pop a few headshots and then move along. But the Farah is not one that usually is a hot swap. That usually sticks around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scared for this Farah because she's not gonna get a lot of heals having a Bap and a Lucio.
And
So maybe
also,
she'll just-
Who's James as an AA gun? Who's James
Yeah.
as a rail pointed upwards is not the best. Oh,
Yeah,
there we
their
go.
DPS
The instant
immediately
swap.
gonna swap to May to Sojourn. That's a
Welcome to
more.
Big Fat Stupid Idiot. No.
It's gonna be mirrors from both teams here. This is an absolute mirror, and Blakey is gonna fall to their Ramatra. Who's James is gonna get a pick onto that May. Their Lucio is gonna try and pummel Galvanijo, but Galvanijo is gonna try and pummel him back. We're gonna have to back up to point here, just try and save as much time as we can, being down at DPS.
I think that Galvanijo kind of just getting pushed around here, not taking a whole lot of damage, but not really able to hold their ground at all. They're gonna have to sort of back up and give a lot of space here, maybe even give point.
Yeah, who's James getting picked is a very, very big pick from their team there. Harp is also gonna fall to their Ramatra. This is either gonna, Galvanijo's gonna fall. This is just gonna have to be a back out and see what we can do in terms of defending Street's phase here.
Yeah, if Bleaku gets rushed on and picked, that's a really bad death, because that just makes it to where Bleaku was here for the first fight, got picked, and then won't be here for another 2 fights. It isn't a great combo. Bleaku has to back up, can't really combat for space here.
Yeah, it's looking like who's James and Tooney are gonna hold a little bit on height, maybe walk forward off of their own wall, and just kind of see what we can do here. We're charging ults here about 50% to half our ults. Carp almost has window. We have a little bit of an ult advantage in terms of our Baptiste window. Never mind, they just got window. They're gonna pop it. We're also gonna pop window. Both windows coming out at the same time. Their immortality field's gonna come out along with ours. This is a very mirrored fight right now.
I really want just a massive rail to soar through the window there and take somebody out, but it looks like it won't be so lucky. And they're going to Nem. They're going to use that Annihilation in response. I think that they might be able to get more, but yeah, I mean, sorry, I was a little bit confused there. Galvanijo is going to fall. I don't think they're going to get anything other than Galvanijo there. I think everybody's going to make it up pretty solid. Now, looking at this next fight, you don't have that window. You're going to have Annihilation, and you're pretty close to freeze and beat. I think that you want to keep the beat just for any sort of overclock or freeze shenanigans that are coming your way. But I think that freeze comes out as soon as you get it. That freeze, you are probably looking for a place to tuck as you're getting the freeze. You really just want to be able to play it as soon as possible whenever it's so close to the second checkpoint.
Who's James with a great starting pick there. Blakey with an insanely good wall. Their Baptiste is going to get headshot by that Sojourn rail. Their May is very, very weak with no cooldowns now. She's going to fall to Galvanijo. Their Lamp is going to come out, their Mortality Field, and their Ramatra is going to get walled off. And then he's very, very likely, he's still alive. Their Tooney is going to fall to the Vortex. Their Ramatra is still alive, getting absolutely dumped with heals. The Annihilation is going to go through from Galvanijo. They're going to follow up with a beat. We are also going to freeze. Their Ramatra is just outside the viewpoint of that freeze. And Blakey and Carp are immediately going to fall. And that is some pretty big ults from Center College used.
That was really unfortunate that we got aggressive and then used Annihilation and lost. And also Who's James sticking around for just a little bit too long. It looks like we're going to have Tooney stay back just for the taxi of the 2 dead people. But really, we're not going to make it before this checkpoint hits. 3-minute second checkpoint is scary. 100% scary. We want to use that freeze as soon as... Oh, we already used the freeze. I forgot. And it didn't get the ram. All the memories are flooding back to me. But their Blizzard, we're going to have to play against that really quickly. Who's James getting that pick with the Vortex? That's really nice. It's not called Vortex, but I'm calling it that. Playing way far back here is, you know, really nice for just the rails. Just standing way far back, getting a nice vantage, and then railing like the May or the Baptiste as they just get a little bit too overexposed.
Yeah, they're gonna have. There's a big wall there coming up with Blake. Their entire team is in front of it though. Freeze is gonna come out. Galvanizo's gonna get out. Harp is gonna use the window to try and heal as much as possible on Galvanizo. Gonna work very, very well. Their lamp is gonna go down, and Curve is gonna be using a lot of value from that window there. And then Blake is gonna pull out the wall, try and separate somebody. Nobody gets separated. Their May is gonna use wall and freeze with no cooldowns. Galvanizo's taking a lot of damage. Tooney's taking a lot of damage. The enemy team's window is going to come out. Carp is going to fall. We are going to use B, try and stay as much as we can. And this is going to be defending as much as we can. Tooney's going to fall. Blake is going to fall. Who's James and Galvanizo are going to try and get out. Galvanizo is going to fall. Who's James going to get out. Try and charge as much as he can on that overclock for a last touch.
Yeah, I think that this really is just going to be up to Who's James sliding onto first base here in order to just get a lot of prevention. I don't think it's going to be as dire as I make it, but it's still going to be not the cleanest fight, especially whenever Galvanizo gets railed off of the rip. Two people up top, it's really difficult to get rid of them on the characters that we're playing right now. The Annihilation bullying Who's James, they're not really being able to make it out of there. Something that I thought was interesting in that last fight was we used a defense ult offensively and an offense ult defensively. We used the window in order to keep Galvanizo alive through the freeze, and I thought that was a really good play, and I really liked the way that that worked, getting the extra heals in order to make sure the tank stays alive, and sort of you trade ult for ult, but sort of gain presence. Your tank is still in their back line, and I really liked that. What I was a little bit skeptical on was the beat. The beat going in, I understand that the beat was meant to stand in for the other support, as I believe it was Carp who got picked. So, you know, you have to think about, all right, if I'm not putting out as much heals, I'm going to ult so that we can all live. And then we played it really aggressively. I think that beat maybe, you know, you save it for whenever everybody's critical, and then you get out, and it costs nothing except for, I guess, Carp. And that's, you know, you always want something like that. I think that I saw your eyes widen, the Blakey on Widow. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe the Widow Pharah start is normal. I've never seen this, but also I'm bad. I'm the B team. So
yeah, I mean the Widow Pharah at the beginning is very good in terms of just getting a lot of damage right off the bat, and then swapping to those more standard May Sojourn picks. We'll see what Who's James and Blakey can do. I honestly thought the roles would be swapped. Blakey and Who's James just trying to get as much damage as they can. Immediately jump down, and swap to the more additional picks.
I was kind of hoping that Blakey would pull out that Tracer, but I like the May too. I like the May. I think Galvanizo just really making sure that team is regrouped before he pushes further in. They've got a little bit on top, but they've got a lot behind this pillar. So this is a really smart play to just pull around to the left with speed.
Yeah. And then we're going to be holding in the backup point. Both of the May walls are going to come out. Tooney with a good boot there, try and get a little bit of the team separated. Their lamp is going to come out up top. Ours is going to come out on point. Carp is going to fall first. Their Baptiste is in a very weird position. Galvanizo is going to fall. Blake is going to fall. Tooney is going to fall. And we're just going to try and reset here, see if we can get a better angle like last time.
I do think that Who's James got picked off there at the very start of that fight. He was the first death, and it was really unfortunate that we had a really nice positioning of just rotating around the point to where they had to attack us. I really liked the way that was played, but at the same time, we sort of played into what they wanted, and they had us surrounded on height. We're not playing a lot of height-oriented characters other than the Sojourn going up height now. I think that you have to push on as a team here, but maybe not push on to sight. Maybe we push up like this, like Tooney and James are doing at the moment. Just trying to get really aggressive.
Wonderful wall onto the Ramatra. Their lamp is going to come out, and also their May wall. Galvanizo and their entire team is going to try and do as much damage as they possibly can. The overclock is going to come out from Ashland here. It's going to get 2, and Center is going to have to back up after the enemy team's got to use ults first.
You know, it's a really unfortunate loss, but at the same time, you have to think about what have you lost and what have you gained. They held for a decent amount of time on defense, so I think that we're allowed to spend a little bit of time attacking here. Looking at ultimates, they had used overclock in order to prevent us from pushing forward, and now we're going to use window and hopefully get more from it. Toonie and Carp getting the first picks onto the Lucio and the Sojourn, and that's going to leave it tank, DPS, and support. And then instantly, Carp is going to finish off the DPS lineup, and Toonie's going to finish off the tank. I think that was a wonderful play from our supports here. You always hope for that miracle, the miracle icicle from a million miles away. You always hope for it, but I don't think we're going to see it. I think that was really well played from Carp and Toonie there. I think Toonie being up in their face on the top, and then Carp staying on the bottom for if they had to drop or just if they were out of position. That was really, really well played. The only one you didn't get was, I think, Lucio. Or no. I have no idea. I have no clue. But either way, we're really close to 3 ultimates and maybe even beat by the time this next fight really gets into it. So I think that we'll be really nice defensively and we'll be really nice offensively. The Blizzard, I think, is one of the first things that should come out. But that wall comes up and ends up blocking off Blakey and Toonie from this fight, just instantly picking them.
Great lamp, though, there from Carp, and it's just, that window was a very well-timed and well-placed ultimate. It is only 1 ult, so that is a little scary from the side of Center College. But we have 4 going into this next fight, while Ashland only has 3. So we'll see what value we can get out of our ultimates compared to theirs.
I think that what I said still stands. The Blizzard should be one of the first things that we're looking for. The wall.
Great pick on their Lucio. The freeze is also going to come out, just like you said. Their Ramatra is going to fall to the freeze. Their Mei is very, very split. It's going to fall. Blakey very, very closely to death there. And their Sojourn is going to be the last one to touch, and it's inevitably going to fall.
Yeah, just having to get a quick death there. I did call it. The freeze is the first thing you want to look for, and I think that beat sticks around for another annihilation, and then the annihilation to counter it and have the advantage. I think that's a really nice way to just, I guess, do the math on your ultimates of what are you giving, what are you gaining, things like that. Both annihilations are up, both overclocks are up. They have a freeze, we have a beat, they have a beat, and we are about to get a window. The beat comes out.
The beat comes out from the enemy team. Toonie is going to beat in retaliation. Who's James is also going to overclock, trying to get that annihilation. Lamp's going to come out. Galvanizio is also going to annihilate. They are also going to freeze to try and get this up. Who's James, Galvanizio, Blakey are going to fall. Toonie is going to try and get out. The wall might stop him from getting out. Carp is going to... We did commit window there as well, so Carp is going to just try and die. And that is all of the ults that were up from both teams.
That was a big commitment. Like you said, from both teams, and unfortunately, we are not closer to ult. They are going to have window before we have that freeze, but I think that window can be played around, but a freeze that's well placed can still be really impactful. So I don't think we should count out center yet. I do think that Carp switching off of the Baptiste and onto the Moira, I think that's an intelligent pick. You have to realize when something's not working, and Who's James said that the Sojourn isn't really working right now. I kind of saw looking for a nice rail, not really able to find it, getting out Sojourn. I'm going to switch to that Reaper. I respect the sort of humility that comes with admitting that you're getting a little bit dipped and you need to swap. I really like that.
Yeah, their Lucio is going to find 2 on our team, though. Who's James is going to try and fade to get a little bit of health. Blakey is going to use freeze, trying to stay alive as long as he can. But their Lucio is going to find him, and Toonie is going to have to back up after his whole team has fallen there.
Really, these losses don't feel exactly like they're outplaying us in some grand gesture. It feels like we're misplacing 1 or 2 of our DPS or our subs, and it's really just throwing everything out of whack whenever that Mei wall comes up and divides the team. They have to really be cognizant of the Mei wall. It's one of the most impactful abilities currently on the board. It's going to sever Galvanizio, and they're going to use to their advantage. They're going to Blizzard, and it's going to catch their tank. It's going to get rid of No Die, and then, it's going to force out their Mei's Blizzard. I think that Blake is going to make it through this unscathed, but Who's James, maybe not so lucky. Never mind. Who's James has never been damaged in his entire life, and we're going to get that second checkpoint. It's really nice that we were able to win that. We did have to use Blizzard for it, but we only had to use Blizzard for it. They also used Blizzard, got nothing, and they used Overclock and got nothing. They're going to have beat, and we're going to have beat pretty soon. I think that this is really going to come down to how well can some of these really offensive ults be played. Instead of Overclock, we're running Who's James on the Death Blossom. I think that the Death Blossom could be big, but you have to wait for a lot of things to be down. Harp is going to instantly use that Coalescence and just make sure everybody stays alive, not even looking for anybody to kill. He's going to force out the beat. That's a wonderful force, but it does make Toonie go down. I really wonder if they consider this still winnable. Probably not whenever Who's James falls. I think that they're really just looking for as much damage as possible. Galvanijo did pop Annihilation there. Ooh, unfortunate.
That is 2 ultis from the side of Center College, and that is 2 ultis from the side of Ashland as well. So I would say that was a kind of a fair back and forth fight. Center College is going to have the Death Blossom and the Beat for this next fight, and Ashland is probably going to have the window and probably an overclock here for this last fight. If Center wants a chance to be able to win this, they have to be able to cap here.
You know, there's sometimes when you can tell that something's going to need to be big, and this Death Blossom needs to be big. This Death Blossom needs to be at least 3, maybe 2 we could get away with, but it has to be something massive.
Yeah, try and fade it and find that health pack. It's going to find it before taking the damage to follow to it. And that rail is just going to take out Who's James immediately there. Tooney's going to have to stall here with his beat. Maybe get a boop on the Sojourn. Not quite. A valiant effort, though. We're going to beat, immediately goes forward to point. Maybe not get it. We do get the touch. They're really, really big. Their Sojourn is extremely weak. Their Sojourn is going to fall. They have the window holding up top. Who's James is coming back in with the Death Blossom. We are 8% away from the freeze. They are going to be able to freeze first, though. May is extremely weak, holding on point. Is going to fall to Carp's Coalescence. Blakeu has the freeze. Is immediately going to use it as soon as he can. Carp is going to get 2. Their Ramattra is extremely, extremely close to death. He is going to fall. And we still have our Death Blossom here for this last little touch that Ashland has.
I think that if we've had to have a really defensive mindset, we cannot let them through these doors. And I don't think we are going to let them through these doors. I think we're going to get pretty nice touch under the point. They're throwing a lot at us, but it's very staggered. I don't think they're going to gain much.
The punch out of the Death Blossom. This Tracer is going to try and stall as long as she possibly can. The recall is going to come out. And we'll just see how long the Ashland can touch here. Lucio is going to be next touch. The Kyrie just used Suzu. And I don't know how much longer they can touch for. And that is going to be that next little round. But Center is going to have to hold extremely, extremely well here and then just hope for the draw.
Yeah, the 3-minute hold is going to be something that I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see the 3-minute hold. But something that I saw in that last fight was whenever their May Freeze came out, we had, like I said, you kind of have to be positioning for these May Freezes before you're actually going to pop them. You can't think, okay, now I'll look to find it. It's always just try and get yourself in a position to where you could use it. And like got to a position in which he could see all of the point, gets frozen, and then decides, I'm not going to back out of this. I have to stick this. I have to stay in here. Throws up that wall, throws up that ice, and is just able to preserve his life in order to use that freeze to turn the tide. I think that was a really nice play, and I think that we're going to need really intelligent plays like that and everything in between in order to really hold this for the length that we do, and that's just to get a draw. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work with the qualifier situation. I'm not up to date on the as you know, big stupid idiot here, resident big stupid idiot here. I'm not up to date on the rules, but we'll see. It starts out pretty normal. They've got the Widow and the Pharah doing the weird things that never do anything, and then they're going to swap onto the more meta picks, going back to the mirror match, except for Who's James on that Reaper instead of the Sojourn. I think I like this as a defensive pick. I think Sojourn's very aggro, and I think that you run the Reaper and it's a little bit better.
Cooney is going to end up falling to their Sojourn. Galvanijo and Who's James are going to be able to pick up both of the DPS. Their Ramattra is very, very alone here, but their supports are just going to be able to dump into him. Their Lucio flying around up top, and this is going to be a pretty good hold from the first part of Center College.
I think that you get the DPS, and while you aren't necessarily, you don't win the fight. You don't win the fight, and that's not the best, but you do stall that fight, and you're just looking to stall. You're not looking to win, you're looking to stall at the moment. We're about to have that Coalescence. I'm sure it's going to come out off cooldown. There it is. That's going to keep Blakeu up. It's going to keep Tooney up. It's going to make sure Galvanijo can push into this aggressively, and it might even get something a little bit more. Tooney able to finish off that Baptiste.
Who's James is going to fall to the rail. Their Ramattra is extremely, extremely weak. If they can push in here, Tooney might be able to boop him in. Big boop there from Tooney to be able to get the Ramattra separated. That is an absolutely vital pick from Center if they wanted to be able to defend this point.
I don't know that wall would have got him. I think that wall would have put him on top of the wall, and that boop was required for that wall to work. And that was a fantastically timed, just desperation attack on that tank. They have to defend this for 1:20 seconds. That's about one long fight and a touch, or maybe even 2 quick fights. And I think that there's a decent chance Center can do it. They've got a lot of ults up, and they're going to use that window to start this fight, but they're really hurt already. We have that freeze.
Overclock's going to come out from Ashland. They're going to beat. We are also going to use Annihilation. They're going to use Annihilation. Galvanizo is going to be the first to fall. Their tank is extremely, extremely weak. Their tank is going to fall. This is a very even fight. The freeze is going to come out from Ashland. It is going to get Blakeu. But Carp is going to get their Sojourn. Who James has the Death Blossom here. The Carp is going to use the Coalescence. The Death Blossom is going to come out, get the Lucio, inevitably get the Mei. They're going to TP up onto the Baptiste to try and get this kill here. Leave him alive as long as possible. Hopefully not kill Who's James. But he's gonna that's an insanely good stagger onto that Baptiste. So this is gonna be the last fight. And Center College has an ult advantage. Ashland was able to use all 5 of their ults and not win that point. Center College still has beat in order to try and touch and save this point.
Honestly, as soon as somebody touches this point, you just beat, and you make sure that you can live.
The B is coming out. It's going to get all 5 of Center College's members, and we're going to try and boop their supports back as far as possible just to prevent them from getting a touch. Their Ramattra is extremely weak. That Lamp is not going to be able to see him, but he's getting enough heals. They're going to try and touch. 5 seconds left to get this touch. Their Lucio was on point just for a little bit. He is going to fall, though. Galvanizo is going to use the Nemesis form. The window is going to come out. That was a very quick window charge from Ashland, but we are just going to try and block as much damage as we possibly can with the Nemesis form. We're going to use the Vortex here, slow down their whole team. Their Mei is extremely weak. He's going to freeze, and their Ramattra is going to get, our Ramattra is going to get walled. Tooney is going to get a pick onto the Mei. The Coalescence is going to come out from Carp and just do as much damage as possible. Their Sojourn is going to fall. Their Lucio is extremely, extremely weak. Do all the healing as we possibly can. Their Ramattra is the only one on point right now. Try and get him. He's walled right now. Galvanizo is going to get the Baptiste. The Annihilation is going to come out. Their Lucio is the last one who gets on point. And that is going to be a draw. An absolutely insane hold from Center College.
3-minute hold, may I remind you. That last fight was insane. Just the mirroring of attacks and just proving that you can pull it out a little bit better. I think that was a fantastic hold. This Sojourn has been an absolute problem, and I think it's something that Center is going to really have to focus on, just making sure that Sojourn can't get in positions like this again. Like this was an absolutely insane hold, absolutely insane match. I don't know what's going to happen next with it being a draw or the game mode or what have you, but we'll see you then. Hello, everyone, and welcome to match 3 of a possible 4 in a best of 3, which is interesting. Last match was a draw, concluding with a 3-minute defensive hold from Center College, an absolutely insane match. And now we are moving on to push. So this is just this. I don't think we're gonna do anything too crazy. I think this is gonna be the standard comp we've been running. I could be wrong. I think that at most we'll see maybe a Junker Queen or a more offensive sort of lineup, but I don't think we should expect anything out of the blue from this team.
We are gonna see who's James sticking on that Reaper. I really like that pick. Just do as much damage as possible, get that self-healing, and not rely too terribly much on your support healing. Carp is also gonna stick onto that Moira, which is also another good damage dealer and healer. And we're gonna see Ashland come out with the Junker Queen, Lucio, Soldier, Tracer. Definitely a more in-your-face comp, yeah, from Ashland.
As nice as that Baptiste is, I think that you can't deny just the absolute pressure that comes with Coalescence. I don't think that you can ignore that at all, and I think Carp staying that is absolutely a fantastic pick.
And so we're just going to kind of rotate towards the bot here. And Ashland's kind of a little back and forth on where they want to hold. It looks like they're also going to hold towards the bot. Their Tracer is going to be in our back line, try and force out the recall. The wall is going to come out there from Blakeu, trying to get off their tank. The tank is just going to walk around. They're going to drop that. Their Tracer's in our back without recall now. Is going to find Carp, but who's James is going to get the pick onto the Tracer. There's no longer a flea in our back line, but Galvanizo is going to fall to the Helix Rocket, and we're just going to back up and give them this point here.
Yeah, Tooney's gonna kind of leave Blakeu for dead. Just say, hey, I need to get out of here. I'm a support. I'm more important. And I think that that's a fine decision to make. I don't know that that Tooney or James can really do anything without the tank to lead them in here. As defensive, or not defensive, but tanky as Reaper can be, really not a one-man army. I think that they have to push this as a team. No splits at the moment.
The wall is going to come out from Blakeu to try and separate their tank here. Harp is going to fall again to that Tracer. Their tank is going to fall, and their Soldier is also going to fall. Their Tracer has no recall now in our backline. Their Lucio and their Tracer are going to fall. The stick is going to get 2 from their Tracer, and who's James going to try and touch as long as possible. Their Tracer is going to get 3 there, and that might just be the checkpoint there for Ashland.
That was really nice from their team. I like the way that we played, though. I don't think that was a bad way to play. It was just really unfortunate footing with Blakeu falling at the same time as Galvanizo. I think if that doesn't happen, there's a decent chance that fight continues on, and maybe it even changes. I think that fight might go a little bit differently. Maybe at least a pick is gained for the 2 remaining people from center.
Yeah, center is going to look to push forward here. We are very, very close to our beat. They're going to use Coalescence. We're going to try and charge beat as fast as we can. Very, very likely that we use it off cooldown here. We are still using speed just to try and get as much out as possible. We are going to Coalescence immediately, going to get antied, and then just the Helix Rocket is going to come out. We are going to beat as well. The Death Blossom is also going to come out. Blakeu is going to fall. Tooney is going to get a good punch there onto their Queen. Their Soldier is going to fall to Galvanizo's Knife. Their Moira is going to fall to Galvanizo. And their Tracer is going to be the last one alive. She's going to try and stall for as long as possible, and then she is going to fall.
It was almost like a game of reversals. Last fight, it went really heavily in Center's favor for a second, and then instantly Center just dropped it. And this fight, it looked pretty dire with the loss of Carp off rip and Cole off rip, and that the tides just shifted with the beat and the Who's James popping out that Death Blossom. It was really just a spur of the moment thing. I think that Galvanizo probably doesn't want to take this fight. The team is a little bit separated. As much as that is just a nice little cubby for you to ult in and apply all that anti-heal, it's not an ideal situation.
And Tracer is going to immediately come in and use her Pulse Bomb. They're also going to Visor. Tooney is immediately going to fall to that Visor. And we'll just see how much we can do. Blakeu is going to use the freeze. Is going to get their Queen. She is going to fall to that. Their Moira is in the back, very, very weak. And they're going to get walled, so we can try and get as much of this point as possible. Your Tracer is going to use Recall, try and just get away here, get some health back. They are going to beat as well to try and stay on this point as long as possible. And the center is going to try and do a lot of damage. We are going to use our ultimate here from the Junker Queen. And their Moira is going to fall, but our Reaper and our Moira are going to fall to the Lucio. We're going to see if we can't get anything here. Tooney's going to get the Soldier. Their Lucio is very, very weak in the back here. And their Tracer is looking for a recall here, but I don't think she's going to do it.
Ooh, that wall That wall cutting off the tank, just making the tank having to go around, that was absolutely fantastic, and I think really important. The pulse bomb
is going to get Galvanizo, and then Moira is going to be able to pick up Blakeu there. That pulse bomb charged really quick, and was a very pivotal pulse bomb.
Once again, a reversal. I feel like that was really going in Center's favor for a second, and just a single ultimate or just a single play really changed the tide. It was really even. I think that cutting off the tank there at the end, in my head, solidified that for Center, and I shouldn't have counted Ashland out.
Yeah, looks like we are also coming up on we have just our Coalescence. We are coming up on Freeze and Reaper ult here. But Ashland has their Coalescence as well, coming very close to their Soldier ult here. I mean, Soldier ult could be good. Our Blakeu here is going to get an immediate headshot onto their Tracer. The Cole battle is going on right here. And then our Cole is going to end first, which might not be the best, but we are going to get enough healing to out-damage, or to out-heal the damage of their Cole. And we are going to get a decent amount of progress on the bot here. We're going to have to play a little bit backwards here as they are pushing in from our backline.
Even with no kills, just being in control of the robot is the name of the game here. Oh, I thought that was Blakeu dead. Blakeu's going to be able to stick around, especially thanks to Toonie popping B, really preserving that health. And hopefully they can get the tank here. Nice. Galvanizo is able to get their tank, but Blakeu does fall. They're not going to have the Blizzard for this fight. They're going to have to play this just really aggressively and hope that they can get these picks. I think Who's James going up top and enforcing the drop and getting that Moira, that's really important. Really important. And Toonie managing to sort of solo that Tracer. Soloing that Tracer is something that isn't easy to do and is an absolute leap forward if you can manage it. They're going to be able to get it to the second checkpoint. Anybody who falls now is going to be able to come back to the fight a little bit easier. That was sort of the hard part of that first checkpoint. Already done.
Yeah, so now Center College is coming up on 3 ults here, while Ashland is coming up on 3 as well. We have the Pulse Bomb. They're going to use their Rampage. We're going to get a decent amount of anti-heal in there. But the Toonie is going to fall here. Who's James is going to use the Reaper ult and is going to get their Moira. But they're going to use Pulse Bomb and get Carp, and Blakeu is going to fall. Who's James is going to fall. We are going to use Rampage to try and solidify this fight. We are going to gain the lead. That is a very huge thing. We're going to gain the lead and then immediately fall back. Gaining the lead there is honestly worth using all of those ults.
I do think that just pushing it that extra inch is really nice. I'm not quite sure if Rampage is required to do that. I think that Who's James maybe can stick on that cart without the Rampage, but I also believe that Galvanizo knows a lot more than me. I know that Galvanizo is currently playing the game and is going to be able to pick this up and really take control of this. If they believe that Rampage is the play, then they believe that Rampage is the play. And I think that this Cole being out really early in that fight, it's not great that it came out already, but it is great that the entire team is together and we have control of that robot again. The Cole retaliate, they're not going to be able to really heal as much. I think that Toonie might fall here and maybe just kept on by a hair of health, but Galvanizo falls in return. Instead of having to look at each other, not able to spare just an ounce of heal for the tanks. That wall maybe cutting off Who's James a little bit. Blakeu not throwing that wall down fast enough. That's really unfortunate. Ooh, that was quite a fight there. The beat almost, I say quite a fight, it's not over yet. Toonie's taking a lot of damage here. Beat almost up. Beat is almost up, and I think that them getting the lead just now, it's going to be important that this beat is able to negate something big. Being able to negate either a Rampage or a Visor. I don't think it needs to be used on a Pulse Bomb. I think that just better positioning and maybe a better awareness of where this Tracer is, that can really negate the Pulse Bomb, but the Visor is a little bit more difficult to play around.
Yeah, the Tracer is going to use recall very early. That Pulse Bomb is going to come out. It's not going to find anybody though. James is going to be able to wraith and get away from it. The wall is going to come out. Their Visor is going to come out also. He is very weak there. Visor not finding anything either. We're going to use the Cole as well. The Cole is going to go in. A good wall coming out for Blakeu. Maybe be able to find the Lucy and the Soldier. Definitely at least getting them out of position. And that is going to be a very good... There's someone on the bot right now for the enemy team. We have to be able to go back to the bot and just make sure that they don't get any more progress.
That was an insane play that just got very quickly negated by a lot of just distraction. I think that Tracer was the one on the point, really just causing a big focus on the backline, forcing them to back up.
An amazing freeze here from Blakeu, and also an amazing beat from Toonie in order to counter their Rampage. That is going to be 3 falling for Ashland, make it 4. Another Pulse Bomb coming out from the Tracer. It is going to miss though, and that is going to be a team kill for Center College.
So something that I said before, I want to completely take back. I said it was really unfortunate that Carp had to use that coal at the start of that fight, and by the time this next fight had gone into the swing, Carp had coal again. And before this fight starts, I have no doubt that a skill orb is going to get that coal back. Carp is charging this so quickly, and that's really important because it really feels like these poles are what's deciding these fights. The coal, it comes out from Ashland there, and hopefully we can get ours a lot quicker, and we can just put it into motion as fast as possible. The Death Blossom is going to take out the tank. That's an ult for a really big player of theirs. I think that's really nice as long as Who James doesn't get picked or anything like that. Harp does get picked though. We're not able to pull that coal out fast enough. But hopefully we're able to get this Moira. Oh, I eat my words. We're not able to get the Moira. Galvanijo and Toonie fall. Blake as well. Who James hoping for a quick death.
Yeah, they also used Visor again on that fight. They got a very, very quick Visor. We're able to use it, and we might... This is going to be last touch territory. Center College is going to have ult advantage with the Coalescence and potentially a very, very fast charge beat.
It does look like either Toonie or Carp is going to have to touch here.
Toonie's not going to get the touch. Carp is going to get the touch with the Coalescence, doing as much damage as possible. Well, he is the only one on point. Galvanijo is going to follow the Tracer as well. And Carp is just going to try and stall as long as he possibly can. Get the healing orb out. Try and fall back. But with both DPS here as well. Our DPS are not close on ults. Carp is going to get punched by the Doomfist. Blake is going to fall to the Tracer. Who's James and Toonie are going to try and get his long touch. Their Tracer is going to get the last pick on Who's James, and that is going to be push for Ashland here.
We are now 1-1-1, which means that we play one more map to decide the winner of this entire series. An incredibly close series, and I'm really eager to see this last map here. Galvanijo getting play of the game. I think the Galvanijo has been really, really holding their own on this on this Junker Queen. Being able to play such an offensive tank into such a volatile team is really important, and I think I really commend Galvanijo for that. Maiden name drop. But we'll see everybody in the next map. Hello, everyone, and welcome to map 4 of a best of 3. We've got 1-1-1. We got one draw on Kingsborough that was really exciting. And now we move on to what I believe must be the final game. I do not think that you can draw in this game mode. But, you know, maybe we'll find out. Break the rules a little bit. But I think that the last 3 games, it went a win for Center, a draw, and then a loss for Center. It just perfect across the board of sort of equality there. And I think that personally, I like Alvanijo on that Junker Queen on Servasa. This is the Servasa Junker Queen. I really, really like it. You also will like this. Who's James?
I love this Who's James pick right now. Who's James on the Tracer. Kind of learning a little bit from the last map here, just having a Tracer absolutely bullying our backline. But, I mean, we saw Who's James Tracer on Servasa last time we were here, and he was getting some pretty big picks. We'll see what we can do here.
I think that a really big knife would be nice, but that Tracer being such a nuisance in your backline might even negate from some of these plays that we can make. Moira's really low.
Who's James gonna be able to get that pick onto that Moira, and we're gonna see this Tracer's gonna jump in. Doesn't have recall anymore, so she might be a free pick. She is quite literally 1 HP. She is gonna be able to get Blakey, but Carp is gonna be able to find the pick. Who's James is gonna have to recall here. The knife is gonna come out and hit Carp. It's not gonna do much. Their Queen is extremely weak. Their Lucio is extremely weak. Their Soldier is extremely weak. They are all very, very weak on this point. And Center College might be able to get the point flip here, and that is huge on Flashpoint.
I think that getting this first point is, like you said, huge.
We need a cap though.
We do need a cap. Okay. Yeah, looking at ultimates, like I said, Carp is already charged. The Coalescence is ready to defend this point. No ults really even close. Maybe the Pulse Bomb will come out next fight, but with the emphasis that we can put onto this Tracer, I think that their Pulse Bomb might be able to be shut down a little bit faster. Nothing to eat it quite necessarily, but we do have things that we can sort of play around them. I think we're being a lot more cognizant, a lot more aware of it.
Cole is immediately going to come out as soon as their team pushes forward. Their Moira is extremely weak. Their support lineup is very weak here. And Carp is going to be able to get a lot of healing. Blakey is going to get a pick under their Lucio. Who's James going to get a little bit of a Tracer diff onto their Tracer. And just kind of back up a little bit, taking a little bit of damage from that Moira. Blakey getting a massive rail shot onto their Junker Queen. And then Who's James going to be able to pick up that Moira there.
I think that putting the Who's James onto Tracer is almost like sticking your attack dog on their attack dog. And it's just, you know, you say, all right, Who's James? Prove that you're better. Prove that you're better and play this Tracer into a Tracer that we already know is good. And that's going to get us first point, just the absolute dominance that we've had. I don't mean to insult Ashland or anything, but I think that just with how close these pivotal picks are, we've got that really influential Lucio, we've got that really influential Tracer, and the really influential JQ. All mirrors and all just seem to be leaning towards center in a lot of these fights.
Yeah, I mean, Carp is going to immediately follow that Tracer, though. Like, their Tracer is also extremely influential. Ashland has 5 ultimates online to try and defend this point. They are going to be there first. Center College is going to come up probably with 3 at the beginning of this fight. So, that, I mean, they're 3 very, very good ults, but it is still very scary to know that you are at an ult disadvantage here.
I don't think that you necessarily want to take any of these fights and position them to where they can use these ultimates well. Getting into this choke is kind of scary for Rampage, but not if you Rampage first. Pulse Bomb comes out and cancels the beat. They're going to use Rampage, Cold, Beat, and Pulse Bomb in that fight in order to defend that point. We use Beat and Rampage. That is 2 for 4 ultimates. Sorry. Yeah, 4 ultimates. Absolutely massive trade, but it is going to get them about 50% on point before the next fight even starts. Apart from Blakey dying there isn't great. We need Toonie to get out. As dire as that may not have looked, just a random head tap can kill anyone. So I think that in this next fight, this Pulse Bomb needs to hit these supports, and this Overclock needs to overpower the Visor. And that's how you win this fight. I don't know if you even want this point. This might be they spent 4 ults on it, let them have it, but...
That's not how Center College rolls, though. We are going to immediately pop in with this Overclock here. Their Junker Queen is going to be very weak. Galvanijo is going to make him fall And their Moira is also extremely weak. Blika was a fully charged rail, aiming for someone's skull, not going to be able to find it. But you're also going to use Coalescence here to keep everyone up. Good defensive ults for that point.
I think using the Coalescence and the Overclock in order to take over that point. In the end, we used 4, but they used 4 on 1 point and made it to where they didn't even have a chance of defending that. And it gave us the point. Now we're on the defense in a little bit of a better spot. Having that pulse bomb, definitely looking for that pulse bomb, but getting stuck in the process. Tracer not able to make it out of it.
Yeah, so we are down the one person who has an ultimate right now. That is a little scary. There's soldiers in the backline trying to pepper in on our supports. Their Tracer's going to fall, but our Lucio is going to fall here. So we're just going to see how much we can do with only one support. Carpe being the only support at 15 HP. That is extremely scary for our support lineup. We're going to use the healing orb. Blake is going to fall to their soldier. So we are going to back up here, see how much time we can get in terms of touch and how much time we can get in terms of stall.
I think that they're allowed to have the point go to OT here because it's going to get them Rampage. They're going to get another touch with the Rampage, but Galvanito's going to have to walk back to that point. The knife onto the enemy Junker Queen is absolutely massive, taking out their tank. This is still a really even fight. It's just Galvanito, but it's against a lot of really
that was a
players.
very last second touch there. Harp does have the Coalescence though. It is very possible for them to win this point with the Coalescence. Their team is very weak on that staircase. You're gonna have to heal your team though instead of opting for the damage orb. Their Lucio is going to get Blakeu. We are just going to try and stall it for as long as we physically can on this point. Uni is also going to fall. The healing orb is going to go out for as much healing as we possibly can. Two James on the Tracer, very weak here. Their Moira is going to get the punch on him, and that is going to be a lost point.
Yeah, I think that you're really looking to defend that point, and then as soon as that point becomes hopeless, you leave. And may I say, some optimistic players here. I don't mean to say that that was doomed from the start, but I definitely think that it was an uphill battle. It was definitely an uphill battle that we almost won. We almost won that. I don't want to discredit them at all, but 5 ults. 5 ults are up, and we're a little bit close to 3, but if they decide to do what they did last time, and it works the same way, they use the pulse bomb instantly.
Ooh.
And so do we.
Who's James also going to use the pulse bomb? It is not going to stick on anybody, though. So that is one ult committed there. There's the same ult committed for both teams, and that is going to be Ashland getting the point there.
Yeah, like I said, if they decide to use these ults in mass in order to get just control of this point, it's usually not great, but it worked for them this time, or I guess last time. And so you really just have to be careful. Do they have some strategy where they play around this a little bit better? Things like that. I do think that we're in the lead a little bit here. Blake and Carp able to get 2 picks. We do pop the overclock in order to gain this lead, and Blake is getting a little bit hurt, but don't worry, can still take out the Tracer. And just looking for a cleanup crew on this JQ. And just opting to maybe leave that to somebody else. Carp able to get it. Gonna make sure that point is ours. At 50%, that's a lot of time that we've given to them, but hopefully we can get this back pretty soon. With the really big stagger that we got on their tank, this should give us at least 30, I'm gonna say, before this fight even starts. And hopefully we can get to 50 before it even starts to look like it's going near the point. Especially whenever Who's James can get picks like that.
Yeah, the absolutely insane one clip onto their Tracer was an insane pick. Because now that means we can charge our Pulse Bomb faster and potentially get an insanely big pick with it. Center is coming up on both of their support ults, while Ashland is coming up on Beat, Visor, and their Rampage. We do have more percentage on the point, but Toonie is going to have an insanely well-timed beat for one of their ultimates coming out.
We're going to pop that shout and get aggressive, but Galvanito is going to respond by doing the same. Just trying to run into them and get as much ult charge. A Rampage would be massive here. That's just a little bit too much damage to take. I think that Carp popped that ult and then got picked as soon as he popped it. Really unfortunate. It's an ult that we're getting pretty frequently, but it's a really big ult nonetheless. And I think that that is going to give the point to them, and not necessarily the whole point, but this fight might be fighting over overtime. But whoever wins this next fight will win this point.
The Pulse Bomb coming out there from Ashland, does not matter. We gotta move towards point now. We do have an ult advantage. The B is gonna come out in order to prevent any damage from that Rampage. Who's James gonna get a stick onto the Soldier? Galvanito is gonna get a pick onto the Moira. They are gonna beat as well in order to try and stall this point as long as possible. Toonie is gonna fall to their Tracer. We are gonna need to touch this point as long as we can. I don't think we're gonna need to commit any more ultimates here. And that is going to be the point flip to center and potentially the point cap, most likely the point cap.
I don't think that there's a way that either Soldier or Moira could dash onto the point fast enough. This definitely is going to go to center. Now, if center wins this next point, that means that center wins this series and gets to move on to the next qualifier match. But if they lose this, it's going to go down to the last point on Servasa. An incredibly neck-and-neck series. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a neck-and-neck game to finish it all off.
Yeah, it's looking like Ashland is going to get that all-important high ground up here, while Center's going to try and rotate behind them and get the high ground after them. Just going to get them a little stuck. We have our Rampage here. This could be a good hallway to use it, and we'll see what happens. Galvanisio is going to fall, though, to the rail. Who's James isn't back, is going to get their Moira. Their Soldier is also very, very weak now. He's going to have to recall in order to get a little bit of health back. And just kind of see what happens here. They're still kind of poking back and forth. Their queen is dead. They're going to commit Visor. The pulse bomb's going to come out. Is going to get the Lucio. Not even a stick. Who's James is going to get a bunch of headshots onto their Soldier. And Carpa's going to use Coalescence to make sure everybody stays alive.
That was a little bit committed there. That was Coalescence and Pulse Bomb. But as we've seen, those ults are charging back really quickly. I don't think that it's out of the fight too much. Something that I loved about that fight is in the very start, Galvanisio falls. That's really unfortunate. But we were saying, hey, we're still good. We don't necessarily need a tank. They're all really hurt. Galvanisio got us some headway. Let's use it. And I really like what they did with that and got the point with it.
Yeah, Ashland is going to commit their Coalescence here as well. Who's James just looking to do a bunch of damage onto their Sojourner. Their Sojourner is going to fall. Carp is also going to fall, though. That is not good. Blakey is falling to the knife. Their Moira is extremely, extremely weak here. She is going to fade. We are going to use Rampage here. Their Queen is very, very weak. Their Moira is still extremely weak. The Queen is going to shout. She is very close to the Rampage here. You do not want to let them get Rampage off, or maybe they can use it just to try and overuse on ultimates here. Tuni is going to fall to their Tracer Punch. Their Lucio is very, very weak. Their Lucio is going to fall. Galvanisio is going to fall. And then Blake is going to see if he can get a good charge on their rail. The Carp is very weak, but he probably is going to be able to get out.
Carp and Blake having to back out here, but since Carp and Blake didn't die, they're not going to have to wait as long to get into this next point. I think that if Center's able to win this next fight, then that might mean the point just goes to them, save for maybe a touch from Lucio. I think that we need to win this point in order to secure this game, but really everything's up in the air. Not a lot of big influential ults. Beat can be used defensively or offensively, but it's not a guarantee. As the entire team pushes onto the right side, everybody having to make a quick shuffle onto the point, the beat comes out so that they can live through a lot of this damage. Looks like the beat from both sides, but the anti-heal is going to take out Tuni. It's just too much from that enemy Rampage. They still have the overclock, but we still have that pulse bomb. Going to stick the Moira.
The stick onto the Moira, but it doesn't even matter because Blake got the kill. That was a confirmed kill. Their Tracer is extremely, extremely weak. Blake is going to get him with a Vortex. The Shout's going to come out from their Junker Queen. Their Lucio is going to fall. They are going to commit Overclock here as well. So that is a very influential ult from Ashland that is going to get committed. She might be able to die here. This Sojourn very, very weak. The Moira is going to fall from Blake, and their Sojourn is going to get extremely, extremely staggered here. And that just might be the match for Center College. If Lucio doesn't get a touch. That is the match. Center College wins this whole championship thing here.
An incredibly exciting series, an incredibly hyped set of games, a best of 3 going to 4 maps and going to almost the final point on Servasa. It was incredibly close and incredibly entertaining to watch. We do have to give credit to this team. Ashland University has been an insane opponent and it has supplied a really, really fun game for I think both our team and also the stream. It's been a really competitive set of games, and good luck to Center Gold moving forward into the qualifiers. I have no idea what's this week. I'm not gonna say anything. Leave that to you.
Wasn't paying attention. What?
We might be having games this week.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, there's Rocket League plays tomorrow.
Rocket League plays tomorrow. Catch that.
Cool. See ya.
All right.